Welcome back. Today we are taking a really massive journey back in time, back to the foundation of so much of our recorded knowledge, Sumer.
And it's more than just one of the oldest civilizations. This is where humanity first started writing down its big ideas, laying the groundwork for, well, almost everything that came after.
Exactly. And our mission today is to try and crack what you might call the cosmic code of Sumer. We're going to dive deep into Anu, the supreme god, and that very powerful and often misunderstood group, the Anunnaki.
Right. We want to get past the surface level stories.
Yes, we want to uncover the philosophy, the metaphors, the coded wisdom they left for us.
And it's so important to frame this correctly. We're talking about Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers. This is where the first real systems for understanding creation, kingship, and cosmic order were all formalized.
So Anu and the Anunnaki aren't just characters.
Not at all. They're like the architectural blueprints for the universe as the Sumerians saw it. They literally define the rules of reality.
Okay, so let's start at the absolute top of that blueprint with Anu. The name itself, Anu, or sometimes just Anu, literally means sky or the heavens, which seems simple enough. But it's much deeper, isn't it? He wasn't just a god in the sky.
That's the whole key. He was the sky. He was the heavens. That distinction is everything. Anu represents that highest spiritual plane, the absolute source of all authority, the cosmic order holding it all together.
So he's above the fray, conceptually above the other gods who were, managing the day-to-day.
Precisely. He's the source point, the king of the gods, father to the big players like Enlil and Enki. But he's also very withdrawn.
Which I find fascinating. The supreme authority is almost never involved in the drama. Does that mean that for a system to work, the ultimate source of power has to kind of step back?
I think it speaks to how sophisticated their thinking was. Anu is a symbol for pure consciousness, the unmanifest. He's that vast, limitless potential that exists before anything is actually created.
Like potential energy?
Exactly like potential energy. He's the still point, the silent origin for which everything comes. But he doesn't take an active role in running things. He can't, because he's infinite potential.
And this is where it gets really compelling, because this idea isn't unique to Sumer. You see this concept of a single silent source popping up everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. That continuity is incredible. This idea of a higher, unseen intelligence guiding things, you see it mirrored all over the ancient world.
Like in the Vedic Brahman.
Exactly. The ultimate unchanging reality behind everything. Or you could look at the Tao in Chinese philosophy, that unseen principle, the way. It's the same fundamental idea.
Even the Kabbalistic Ein Sof, right? The limitless nothingness from which all creation springs.
It's all pointing to the same truth. Whether you call it Anu or the Tao, there's this quiet, limitless ocean of potential at the source of it all.
And the genius of the Sumerians was recognizing that you need something else to translate that potential into, well, reality.
Yes. And that brings us down the hierarchy to the beings everyone is fascinated by today.
The Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki.
So what does the name itself tell us?
The name is the job description. Anunnaki means those who came down from Anu, or sometimes the princely beings of the sky. If Anu is the founder and CEO who steps back,
then the Anunnaki are the board of directors running the cosmic corporation.
That's a great way to put it. They're the divine council, the administrators tasked with executing the vision. They turn that infinite potential into a functioning universe.
So they're the active agents.
Absolutely. Their roles were very specific. They were cosmic administrators, guardians of balance, keepers of destiny, and very importantly, judges of both gods and humanity.
And they weren't all on the same page, were they?
Not even close. It was a diverse and often conflicting team, which is part of the teaching.
Let's give a few examples just to show that diversity. You have Enlil.
Right. Enlil is the god of air and storms. He holds the tablets of destiny. He's all about authority, discipline, order. He's a force.
And then you have his complete opposite in many ways, Enki.
Enki, the god of wisdom, water, and creation. He stands for innovation, cleverness, ingenuity, the creative impulse.
You also have key figures like Ninhursag.
The mother goddess, yes. She governs fertility, the actual physical building blocks of life. Then Utu, or Shamash, who is all about justice and truth, the light that exposes things.
And of course, Inanna.
Inanna, the goddess of love, war, and transformation. A truly dynamic and complex force. Each one is like a department head for a different aspect of reality.
And this highlights something we have to stress. We're not talking about gods in the way we think of them today, like superheroes randomly intervening.
No, that's a modern lens. The texts point to them being personified forces of nature, aspects of consciousness. To understand them is to understand the operating system of the world.
Which leads us perfectly to this idea of them as a metaphor for universal laws. It's like the Anunnaki governed the universe the way physics governs our reality.
Exactly. Think about the fundamental principles that make our world work: gravity, time, intelligence, justice, creativity. Instead of writing a physics textbook, the Sumerians wrote a story about Enlil enforcing the decrees of the heavens.
So they were personifying these abstract laws to make them understandable, relatable.
And teachable. The myths are teaching documents. The Anunnaki are metaphors for the universal patterns of creation that shape our lives.
So when we read about Enki, we're not just reading about a character.
We're reading about the principle of intellect and innovation that overcomes problems. And when we read about Enlil, we're seeing the necessary principle of order and boundaries that prevents total chaos.
Can you give us a more concrete example of how their rules functioned as laws?
Sure. Take Enki again. He was the keeper of these divine decrees that governed every single aspect of civilization, from how to build a temple to the rules of kingship. He was administering the laws of social progress.
Okay, so he's the law of civilization. What about someone like Utu?
Utu, the sun god, administers moral law. His light is what reveals truth, what guarantees contracts are honored. He is the principle of justice made manifest.
And when you put them all together, creation, order, justice, growth,
you get what the texts call the harmonious orchestra of reality. It's this incredibly sophisticated, interconnected system. It shows a belief that the universe is fundamentally organized, not random.
And if you can decode the characters, you can understand the rules of the game.
That's the core of it.
Which brings us to the philosophy hidden inside these myths. This is all coded wisdom, isn't it? Meant to teach us how to live.
Deeply complex ideas, yes.
Okay, so teaching number 1 seems to be about structure and purpose. This whole hierarchy, from Anu down to manifestation on Earth, it reflects a belief that existence itself has a structure.
And a purpose. Nothing is random. There's an order to everything, from the cosmos down to the human heart.
Which leads right into the second teaching. Humanity's role in all this, we weren't just bystanders.
No, the texts are very clear. Humans were created for a reason: to participate in creation, to maintain that cosmic harmony, and to bring consciousness to Earth. It was a cosmic responsibility.
But that responsibility came with a lot of conflict. And that brings us to teaching number 3, the necessity of duality.
Yes, the constant tension, especially the arguments between Enki, who represents creativity and wisdom, and Enlil, who is all about authority and discipline.
Why is that conflict so important? If the goal is harmony, why are the chief administrators always at odds?
Because the tension is the harmony. That's the teaching, is that real growth requires both freedom and discipline. It needs creativity and structure.
So you can't have one without the other.
Exactly. You need Enki's free-flowing innovation to solve problems, but you absolutely must have Enlil's rules in order to make that progress last, protect it from chaos.
Without Enki, you get stagnation. Without Enlil, you get anarchy.
You've got it. Reality isn't static. It's a constant dynamic dance between these opposing but equally necessary forces.
That's an incredibly profound psychological map. And that leads to the 4th teaching, which brings it all home to the individual. Inner reflection.
Yes. This is the crucial leap. The pantheon of gods isn't just out there in the heavens. It's a map of the human psyche. The macrocosm is reflected in the microcosm.
So every person has these forces inside them.
Every single one of us contains the creativity of Enki. We all struggle with the discipline of Enlil. We navigate the passion of Inanna and have the nurturing force of Ninhursag. The external cosmos is a mirror for our internal world.
So if you're struggling with, say, a lack of discipline, the Sumerian view would be that your inner Enki and your inner Enlil are at war.
Exactly. It's not some external fate being imposed on you. It's about managing your own internal divine counsel. It makes self-mastery a cosmic act.
Though we can't wrap this up without at least touching on the modern interpretations. Most people hear Anunnaki and they immediately think of,
ancient astronauts, genetic engineering, lost super civilizations.
Right. And while those are certainly fascinating narratives, the real lasting power here seems to lie in the symbolism we've been talking about.
I think so. The Sumerians weren't just historians. They were humanity's first philosophers, astronomers, and spiritual thinkers. They were trying to express timeless truths about reality and consciousness.
So let's synthesize this. What are the big, actionable lessons for us today?
I think it boils down to 5 key takeaways. First, the universe is governed by laws. If the Anunnaki represent these laws, then your path to mastery is to learn and work with them, not against them.
Second, that lesson from Enki and Enlil. Order and chaos have to coexist. You need both structure and creative freedom to build anything that lasts.
Third, consciousness is not a passive thing. Humans were created to be active participants. Your intention, your awareness, your actions, they shape reality. You're a co-creator.
Fourth, the myths are an inner map, a user manual for the self. Studying them is studying your own potential.
And finally, the ultimate goal, seek the Anu within. Find that quiet, infinite field of awareness inside yourself, that still point. The Sumerian path wasn't about fearing the gods. It was about recognizing the divine patterns in nature and then finding those same patterns inside yourself.
An astonishingly complete philosophy, really, from the dawn of civilization. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Sumerian cosmology.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. If the core idea is that humanity was created to maintain harmony, that this is our cosmic job, and if the Anunnaki represent the universal laws of order and balance, consider this. What is one specific action you are taking today to reflect that harmony in your own world? That's the real challenge they left for us.
Until next time.